What is up, Wanderpreneurs? It is your hostess, Kristi Candelario, the business expert you need.
Hi, man. Welcome to the Wanderless Wandermore show with your host, Kristi Candelario, a movement for life, for freedom in life. Watch ya. Wanderless, Wandermore, expert advices for sure. Wanderless, Wandermore, helping you become an entrepreneur. Wanderless, Wandermore, travel around the world, let us go explore. Wanderless, Wandermore, expert advices for sure. Come and be guided and supported by this podcast show. We give you enough insight just to help you grow. Special guest experts, business adventures about great lifestyles and so much more. Launching, transforming and leveling up businesses globally since 2012. Stay tuned and wonder less so you can wonder more. Yeah, man.
All right. So I know I told you I'm the business expert you need, and maybe you're rolling your eyes some because you're like, Kristi, you didn't even show up for a month to this podcast show. And I would like to apologize for that because I know like that was kind of shitty of me to do, like make a promise. I'm going to do this podcast show. I have all these experts that I've already recorded. I have so many episodes ready to go out. And then I just kind of just dropped off the face of the podcast land, I just went away. And I know some of you have been saying, what happened? Where did you go? Why are you not doing this? And I've had a lot of questions. And the truth is, I didn't go anywhere. I'm literally still here, I moved my houses. So if you hear any birds in the backgrounds and stuff like that, I know you cannot visually see where my house is, but we have a beautiful view of the hill country and a bunch of trees. And it's like living in a tree house because there's so many birds and stuff. And it's so cool. It's like I'm Cinderella and Snow White. So it's really cool getting to hear all the birds and stuff like that. I love that. But there's been a lot that has happened since launching this. And I kind of want to dive into that today, not as an excuse because I don't really believe in excuses. Excuses they're bullshit. I used to be the queen of excuses. I probably had a book bigger than the dictionary. But I don't want to be someone that makes excuses for why things didn't happen. But I am going to tell you what has happened so you just kind of know because y'all have been asking questions. So the first thing I would like to say is I've changed. I have changed as a business expert. I have changed as a friend, a business mentor, myself, in my relationships, things like that. I, Kristi Candelario, am not the same person that I was on April 1st, which is good because I don't think any of us should stay the same person. We should always be growing and expanding and experiencing more and stepping into the person we want to become. And each day you should be closer to that person. And each day you should also be expanding on who it is that you desire to be and rise up into that person. But as I was working on things, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I'm going to be published in a book this June with 20 other entrepreneurs, and it has our stories in it. And I've literally had writer's block. I write all the time. I can journal. I can come up with awesome ideas to talk about live. I can do blog posts. I can do these inspiring messages in my group and things like that. But when it came to writing my story, every time I started something, I just couldn't get it out. So it was like I wrote my part of the book, because it's not a whole book. It's like a chapter of it. I realized that I kept starting things and I wouldn't finish the story. And I don't know, what was going on, but a lot of things came up and it made me realize some stuff about self-awareness. And I realized that, I don't really have the exact time where I can pinpoint it, but I realized that I'm a runner. I realized that I sabotage myself sometimes. And not in a way where I'm doing it, but subconsciously, I will allow someone else to come in my life that can hate on me And then I don't want them to leave. Like, I like somebody there. Like, I like having a bully. I don't know why. Maybe that's just because it's been normal and I need to get out of that cycle. But I do like self-sabotaging subconsciously. And as a runner, I'm talking like not about someone that runs marathon, not somebody that runs in track. I mean, I did run in track. Not somebody that's the neighborhood jogger, which I've totally been lately because I love going on runs by the lake because we live, like less than a mile away from the boat ramp. And the next street over has like amazing views of the entire lake. So I'm not talking about that kind of runner. I'm literally talking about the kind of runner that runs away from people I love. But at the same time, I'm so not the runner when it's somebody that's hating me. Now, hear me out. This is kind of what I wanted to talk about. And then we're going to kind of jump on over to some other stuff I learned a while back and I revisit lately. And it was like, well, duh, Kristi, like there's your issue kind of thing. So here I go with my whole little running story. Hope you have your tennis shoes on because I'm about to show you how I run through my life. So I guess the first part will start off with Brad because he's my husband and y'all have heard me talk about him and things like that. And I kind of brought this up in my story because, Brad and we have been in a relationship for 6 years. And there was times in the beginning, like a lot, where I was definitely a runner. And I realized that I would like come up with why I needed to break up with him. Like, some stupid reason, like I shouldn't have even done that, but I'd break up with him, then he'd be like, why? We'd end up together because he'd be like, well, that was like a dumb reason to break up with me. Like, what is your issue, Kristi? And I realized that it got deeper than that. I realized that it was my ego I was running away from because you see, he's the person I was spending the most time with. And my ego deep down inside was subconsciously, I didn't believe in myself. And then he didn't really believe in me either. Like my ego was presented through him. He was the one talking to me as my inner ego, which I was running away from because I didn't want to face my actual thoughts and my actual ego. So I ran away. And here's another funny part. When my parents got a divorce and stuff like that, I used to be really close with my mom. But when that happened, I ran away from her. And it was because she was my ego in the sense that the feminine energy, being emotional and stuff like that, I didn't want that because I didn't want to be emotional. And there was no way I would blame myself. So I blamed everything on her. And this is where I became super masculine in my energy because I was totally like my dad, like a daddy's girl at that point, because I didn't want to be emotional. I wanted to be strong for my brother and sister, even though they needed my emotional side so I could be there and be supportive and not just be physically there and mindless. Okay. But here's another funny part. I was my daddy's girl. And then when I started my whole entrepreneurial journey, I realized I pushed him away because I was scared I would become him. I was scared that I would have some same similarities as him because he was an entrepreneur and he had big dreams and he gave up on them. He closed down his business and went back to being normal. And I didn't want that. And that was my fear. And that was part of my ego. And I ran away again. And even my mother-in-law, like this, I'll talk about her too, because she was like my ego in the sense that she was very independent and she wanted the control. And I didn't want someone else in my life that was going to try to take the control. So for a while, I didn't want to be around her because I wanted it to be my way or the highway, not her way or the highway thing. And that was my ego. It's kind of funny that a lot of relationships don't necessarily go successful and they're not healthy or something, when really there's a lot of ego involved in it, or at least in my case. And I think it's a little eye-opening to really think about this because our thoughts and everything if we keep them bundled up and we are constantly telling ourselves something, but we're not paying attention to it, our ego starts to present itself in other people. And then you hate them or you love them, or, you know, like, I don't know, like you want to be around them, you don't want to be around them kind of thing. You want to talk crap about them kind of thing. They're so mean, they're so evil, things like that. But really, it's our ego. Because here's like something else I would say, that as for some friends, I never wanted to get attached because I didn't want the gossip or drama for friendships to fall, or, you know, like friendships to fall apart. But when I really thought about it, like, that's stupid. Like, why would I not want friends, you know? But I never had like the long-term friendships because I would always kind of like let them go. I always wanted to let go of people because I didn't want to get attached. I didn't want to have to go through any hardship kind of stuff. So instead, I ran away from all of it. And I wasn't really living, you know? I was just existing with a lot of fucked up internal issues. That's what I'd have to say about that. And then, of course, another part would be that I never wanted to publicly share. And that's just because I have, you know, I didn't want, I don't know why, but I just didn't want to share because that would be me releasing all the internal stuff and sharing what it is, what was going on. So the more I kept everything inside and the more I thought about things, or if I hated something about myself or whatever, it would end up being presented all the time. Like my ego was those people that I was close to. And I didn't mean to run away from them. Like, I love them, but it happened. And I mean, they stick with me, of course, because they're family and stuff like that. And even like my brother and sister, I know I wasn't the big best sister in the world. I know that. Like, don't give me an award for being one. I know I tried a lot to be someone they could look up to, someone that was successful, somebody that I could show them, like, you know, your dreams are possible too kind of thing. But I wasn't the one that was emotionally there, like I'd mentioned. I was physically there and I was mindlessly there when they needed me most. And I know I ran away from my sister mentally because she was too much like me. And I would look at other sister relationships and wonder, you know, like, I wish we had that. But I wasn't showing up. And I think that has to do with a lot of like marriages too, you know, when you look at another couple and you're like, man, I wish me and my spouse were like that. But the thing is, it totally can be like that, but you're focusing on all the bad stuff, you know? Like, I didn't want to include my sister in things. I didn't want to get close to her. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want her to see me at my weakness spots. I didn't want her to, I don't know, like, I just was mindlessly there. That's all I can say about it. But at the same time, with my little brother, we're 10 years apart. So he's about to go into high school. And with him, I loved my childhood. I had happy parents. They were married. I had my little sister. We went to the beach house a lot. We went skiing. We did a lot of cool things. I had a pony at my birthday party kind of thing, you know, like, it was awesome. Like, I want my kids to have my kind of childhood, you know, very carefree. And when my parents got a divorce, I kind of started to back away from him because I was sad for him. I was sad that he would not have the same childhood as me. And I know that, like, that's nothing I can do, but I didn't want to be around my emotions, so I backed away. And it's kind of hard to say this because, you know, like, I love my siblings. I do. And like I mentioned, I know I'm not going to be the best big sister, but you see, he didn't have the same childhood because our parents were divorced. He didn't get to go on all the cool trips. He didn't get to experience what I would call the good life, as I'm like putting my parentheses. But then at the same time, I know he eventually will, but I feel like it's different because I have all these amazing memories to look back on, but I guess he does too in a different way. But it was hard for me at the time. I pushed him away because I was sad. And so it comes down to a lot of my ego was running me away from those that I loved because my truth was coming out as them. And I wanted to bring this message up because I want you to be aware on what's going on in your relationships too. Because is that person, like, do you really have that bad of a relationship with them? Or is it the ego coming out as them? Because as soon as I started flipping my mindset, things started to happen. And they were incredible, you know? Like, the more I worked on myself, the more my relationships, like, turned around. I know I still have some to work on, and I'm working one at a time kind of thing. But I think it's something that a lot of us need to focus on. It's something that you have to work on. It's personal development. It's going to help you in all areas of your life. And, you know, like, life's not meant to be alone or mindlessly going through it. Like, don't just be a mindless mom. Don't be a mindless wife, husband, whatever. Don't be a mindless employee. Don't be a mindless business owner. Don't be mindless. Don't be a mindless human. That's what I'll say. Because I want you to be able to show up. I want you to be there physically. I want you to be there emotionally. I want you to be there mentally. I want you to be present in every moment of your life so you can actually live it. But I would have to say that that's what kind of came up for me, and I was kind of just processing all of it and trying to figure it out and put the puzzle together to open this up, because it's something that needs to be talked about, because I cannot do what I do in any areas of my life without being fully present. Because if I'm not fully present, I'm not 100% there, meaning I'm not giving 100% of my attention, of my abilities, of my talent, of my love, whatever, to the other person. And this is the part where I kind of want to bring it to the human design that I was talking about. I don't know if you know what the human design is or not, but it's this really cool thing. You'll have to look it up. I think it's like humandesignsforusall.com. And that's where you can go find out what yours is. You need to know what time you were born, as well as the location. So if you don't know, find that out first. But there's like different ones. There's like a generator, a manifesting generator, a reflector, a projector, and I'm a projector. So I'm going to kind of talk about that real fast, because I started reflecting on this again. And I found this out back in like November, right around the time where I stopped being a mortgage processor. I started really making some success in my business, and things were going great. So I wanted to come back and revisit this because I feel like I'm a new person that's very self-aware at the moment. And I want to share more of, you know, the good, bad, and ugly about me. And this human design that I want to talk about is really cool, because it opens your eyes to more things and you can relate to. So I'm going to kind of like read off a little bit of the stuff and kind of tell you what's going on, because the human design has taught me that basically I knew I was guided, or I knew I was meant to guide and support others on their dreams. And it's kind of opened my way to basically reassuring myself that I am ready to join you on your journey. I can't even talk. On your journey, no matter what the future holds, because I know together we can make it through anything that comes our ways. And I mean anything, like shit has hit the fan. My maiden name is Murphy, and anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And that's been my whole life. So I'm good at figuring things out as we go through all the hiccups that life may throw at us, you know? And it's taught me that as long as I'm open and ready to receive, and as long as the other person I'm working with, the other person I'm in a relationship with, whatever it is, as long as they are open and ready to receive too, then we can do it. Like, we're going to have this magic part of it, you know? But it's also taught me that like, this is the craziest part. So ready? This is exactly word for word what it says. It says, you do not have an inbuilt constant renewing source of energy, and you need to be careful of how you use the energy that is made available to you. And then it goes on to say that I'm better suited for short bursts of activities followed by review, reset, and evaluation. So did you hear that? Short bursts of activity. And which is totally true, because if I think throughout my entire life, all my success has come from like, I work a little bit, I take a break. I work a little bit, I take a break kind of thing. And lately I've been like constant hustle, and I burned out. I got so burned out. And I've learned that I don't want to keep up with the others that like the others that do what I do or have similar dreams as me. I want to go to the beat of my own drum, and it has its own rhyme and it has its own length and its own tune kind of thing. And you know what's crazy? Yours does too. Meaning I'm not going to judge you or compare you to anyone other than the person you were yesterday and the person you're thriving to be tomorrow. And I want you to do the same, because who cares about what others are doing? Who cares if they've already have what you have? Like, that should just be a factor that you can do it because they have it. But I don't want you to compare yourself to anyone, because they're not you. They did not go through the exact life that you've gone through. No way. Okay, we can have similarities of people, but no one has the exact life as you. But as long as you see something that you want, you can get it. You just got to work for it and work the way you're meant to work. So kind of going through this whole human design and learning that, I physically cannot keep up with others that do what I do or chasing similar dreams. Like, I had to accept the fact that I have to be patient. And if I really think about it, there's a lot of things in life where I've been like the late arrival, but you know what? The best part of it is I arrive. And I want you to arrive too, because business statistics say that 90% of people fail within the first 3 years. And I don't want to be that person. And I know you don't either. But as long as you keep going and making smart decisions, it doesn't matter how much you hustle. It just matters, how smart you are and how you take action and what you do not to overthink anything. And then I've also learned that I'm the kind of person that waits for an invitation. I don't like putting myself out there. Like, if I don't feel like you want me to do something, then I'm not going to do it. Like, I literally wait for it. So I like being invited into your life as your business expert. Then I start doing it. And I'm the kind of person that pays attention to the details and stuff like that, because I want to be aligned with those, with your energy, basically, to bring in personal fulfillment for you and I. But I've also learned that my mind can make very convincing arguments to exactly why I should or shouldn't participate in something. And this kind of goes into the self-sabotaging thing that I mentioned, where I like to, stay in different situations. And another flaw that I learned through doing this was, throughout my life, I'm always in a situation of waiting. I'm always wanting the right timing, So when going throughout sabotaging and having a situation that does not light me up, that takes my energy, drains the crap out of me, a person that, I feel like, or maybe they say like, you owe me kind of thing. And then I feel like I owe them. And then I'm like regretting the fact that I have to go our separate ways and end the bad toxic relationship that I know shouldn't be there. It's hard for me. I literally like lose my confidence, and I want to stay for the right moment. There's no right moment. So it's all about taking action. And it was me realizing that, like, okay, like going through this and seeing the flaws and seeing the strengths, it's been like, oh, duh, like that's me. Oh, duh, that's me. And when I read through like the other ones of the generator and the manifesting generator and the reflector, I I realized I'm so not them. Like, I'm for sure a projector. And I'm the kind of person that projects your dreams and desires even bigger and helps you see the path, helps you get in alignment, helps you really take the steps that you need to, because maybe you have your dreams, but it's all foggy and you can't see. And then I come in and I like clear the fog up, and we go running after those dreams, walking after those dreams, taking a break if we have to. Because the thing is, like with my clients and stuff, and even in my real life, I only put in as much effort as you do. That's the kind of person I am, because my energy source comes from your energy source, like what I'm reading here. So if you're given 110%, then I'm given 110%. If you're given 1%, then I'm given 1%. And that was important for me to realize too, because I would realize like some of my clients I'd be like a freaking rock star with, and some of them I'd be like a little, laid back and not as like uppity up. And then I realized like with this, the human design, I was like, well, that's a no-brainer, Kristi. It's true. Like that is how you operate. And realizing those has helped me. Because like this is another part. It says, once you are energetically aligned, you have the means to guide and direct operations easily and can access all the energy you need. So that's literally what I just explained to you. And it says, as a projector, you become aware of those people in your life who are reliable in giving good invitations, and those people and situations where getting an acknowledgement, let alone an invitation, is more difficult. So I pay attention to that, because sometimes my clients are ready to receive a certain message and sometimes they're not. And I literally pay attention to that. I love paying attention to detail, because I know that some are like ready for the next move. Some of them are not ready for the next move. Some of them need like a wake up call, come to Jesus meeting, where I whip them into shape kind of thing. But sometimes they're not ready for that. And I have to wait until they are. And really this whole thing has taught me that I need to be more patient, and I need to not be so hard on myself, and I need to not run from those I love. And I also need to run from those that are not fulfilling me, because I need to pay attention to my energy, because when it comes down to it, my time, my emotions, my mental, my physical, my presence, my everything, they're all sources of energy, time, money, whatever. Myself, that's an energy source, and everything is an exchange. So if there's not an even exchange of energy, then I'm like a flower that needs to be watered, because I'm like the one that's tipping over kind of thing. So knowing all of this, I will be focusing more. It's not selfish of me, I would say, but I'm going to be focusing more on my energy source and being aware that I've kind of been changing up my dream client so I can make sure I'm only getting the ones that come in that are going to, fit me. It's kind of funny, because throughout my whole journey, my dream client changes all the time. And as I change it, it's really crazy, but I get that person. So if you need that help, then you need Dream Client Passport. That's a course I have on dream clients, but it's probably changed now like 5 times. And I would have to say I love all my clients, even the ones in the past. But as I grow as a person, my dream clients change. As I grow as a person, my closest friends, I don't want to say they change, but I have other closer friends too that are on the same kind of path, because that's just the way it goes, So I hope this episode has kind of let you in onto what has gone on. And I will be showing up more, because I have amazing guest experts that need to be heard. And until next time, I hope you all go after your dreams, because you are totally worth your dreams and capable. And not to mention, you are the only authority you need. So go live it up, own it. You got this. I'll talk to you later, guys.